Hello and welcome to this presentation on my annual wellness care plan through the Dr. Arlen Cage Wellness Clinic. As always, if you have more questions about my services, please visit my website, www.drcagesays.org. Here's a real quick overview of what I'll be presenting to you today. Who am I? A little bit about my background. Why we need wellness care plans, and that ties into the current state of our conventional medical system. What is naturopathic medicine, the system of medicine that I practice, and a good description of an annual wellness care plan and the detailed benefits of what is in mine, pricing for 2024, and what you can expect when you start. When I give this live, there's an opportunity to ask questions, but on a video, feel free to pick up the phone or send me an email, and I'll show you all those contact points on the questions at the end. So here is the short version of my background, the very short version. I started out as an engineer and manager in the aerospace industry, which gave me a very good understanding and mastery of the scientific process, which I have been able to apply very well in the world of natural and holistic medicine. I've specialized in endocrinology, fertility, and a general internal medicine with a lot of gastrointestinal expertise and disorders. I do a lot with musculoskeletal pain and sports injuries, and my favorite topic these days is longevity. I produce a podcast, and I have a private practice in Hamilton, Montana. Other sideline adventures I have: I'm a martial arts instructor. I've been both a college and graduate school professor, and I love the outdoors. All right, let's get started in the meat of this presentation. And why do we need wellness care plans? I'm going to start this by talking about a few facts and details about the current state of our conventional medical system here in the United States that you may not actually be aware of. If you're already established as a patient with a doctor or a clinic, the average wait time nationwide to get in to see your doctor is about 26 to 28 days. You find out when you wake up one morning, you find out you're sick, you don't feel well, you call up the doctor to get an appointment, and oh, it'll be a month, Mr. Smith. It'll be a month, Mrs. Smith. Whatever that is. Now, in certain geographic areas where there's fewer doctors and more people, that wait time can go up significantly, and in certain medical specialties, it can take 3 to 6 months. I just had a patient tell me that to get in to see the cardiologist they were already established with, the next available appointment was 1 year away. Needless to say, that cardiologist is no longer their doctor. The only other option in those situations, if you have something that's important and urgent, is you start to use emergency rooms and urgent care centers for primary health care. You'll almost never get to see the same doctor twice. The doctor you do see may never have read the history in your file. You may not even have a history in a file at that institution. And since the pandemic situation, many healthcare providers of all types are choosing to leave the profession. They are so fed up with the way conventional medicine is being run, they just quit and go do something else with their lives. Decreasing numbers of healthcare providers and a lot of other erroneous problems makes the exacerbation of the overcrowding and wait times even worse. Now, suppose you're not already established as a doctor in a clinic and you move, let's say you move to a new area. You're being told on average that the wait time to become a patient at any given clinic is 1 to 2 years. And here's the kicker. In most places in the conventional medical system, the average office visits are 10 minutes or less. It's barely enough time for a doctor who's doing their job thoroughly to ask enough questions to find out what's really going on, to do what we call in the medical circles as taking a case history. Oh, really? It hurts there. When did that start? What had you done? Oh, you fell. Onto what? That sort of thing. By the time you get around to that, if you do your job right, the average office visit for a small acute thing needs to be 15 to 30 minutes. It does not need to be 5 to 10. So these are some of the problems facing the conventional medical system. Now let's suppose you go through that. You do your wait time, you go to the doctor for whatever ailment you have going on, ailments or injuries, and you get the best that the medical system in the US has to offer. What does that get you? Okay? I have here what I call the ultimate healthcare statistic. It plots the average healthcare cost per person in a country from all sources, public, private, etc., against the average life expectancy in that culture. And we in the US began to diverge from the rest of the modern world back in about 1980, and it's gotten much, much worse. We're spending way more money than any other country, and we're getting far worse results in terms of the average overall life expectancy. So this is what you get. And as the expression goes, but wait, there's more. These data right here represent the US and the other countries at the end of 2018, just before the so-called pandemic situation. Let's take a look and see what happened afterwards. Here's what the data looked like at the end of 2021 after 3 years from the previous chart. And in terms of the United States, you can see that our situation's gone from bad to a whole lot worse. We've had a 25% increase in the average healthcare cost per person and almost a 3-year reduction in our average life expectancy. So to compare what's happened with the rest of the world, I picked just 2 countries, Japan and Switzerland, who were the 2 countries before the pandemic with the longest average lifespan. Switzerland went from about 83.7 up to 84.1, almost a half-year increase in lifespan during the pandemic. Their costs went up roughly from $6,700 to $7,700 per year per person. But look over here at Japan. They were at 84.1, they're now up to 84.9, almost a full year increase in the average lifespan. And their costs decreased. During the pandemic, when the whole world was panicking, they just got better in every way imaginable. So right now, this red circle around where the US was as of the end of 2021, that's what you get in the current standard of care in the United States conventional medical system. So let's go back and answer our question now. Why do we need wellness care plans? Simply put, because the conventional medical system is crumbling. Now here we are. What exactly is naturopathic medicine? You may not have heard of this before, or you may be an old-timer, or maybe the level of knowledge is somewhere in between. You like them because naturopathic physicians get people well when many times the conventional medical world couldn't. So there are 6 core principles that drive the naturopathic philosophy, and most doctors use most of these every day. And we really take them to heart. This is how we're trained. This is how we think. This is how we live. First, do no harm. It was in the standard Hippocratic medical oath way back when. It's in our naturopathic medical oath. We work in harmony with the healing power of nature. Your body knows how to heal. We just need to give it what it needs, take away what it doesn't, and sometimes stimulate that healing power of nature a little bit. We identify and treat the true root cause. We don't just keep giving you more and more drugs, treating each symptom as it crops up. We try very, very diligently to get behind all the symptoms and look at the root cause and say, why is this happening? The doctor as a teacher. The Latin name that doctor comes from, docere, literally means teacher. I have found, as many, many, many naturopathic physicians before me have found, that the more you, the patient, knows about your health, how to regain it, how to maintain it, that the more successful you will be in the long run. We have to treat the whole person. You are not a collection of isolated body parts. The whole picture has to be addressed at the same time. And like most naturopathic physicians throughout the years, I truly believe prevention is the best cure. So you might be telling yourself, but I don't need wellness care. I don't need natural health care. I'm in perfectly good health. There's just these couple little minor nagging annoyances. Maybe that's what you're thinking. Well, that's the perfect time to get on a true prevention plan. We run tests if necessary to look at things the conventional world doesn't or tends to ignore until the illness gets really bad. And there's a lot to do with lifestyle, mind, body, and spirit integration. That will all determine how healthy you can be. So I use these principles every day. If you look through my website, it's full of educational courses and videos to go along with one-on-one healthcare. I use a whole variety of different treatment approaches, a lot of nutrition, which includes food quality and supplementation. I do a lot of physical medicine, hands-on manipulation of bones, muscles, tendons, ligaments, internal organs. I use a system called the Human Structural Integrity Field Method of Kinesiological Physiotherapy, or HSIF for short. I use lots of herbal medicines. I use homeopathy, energy medicines, diet and exercise, health and wellness education, as I've just mentioned, and mind, body, spirit coaching. Sometimes people just need a new perspective on life, and so that's what I try to provide. So very, very quickly, in just a couple of minutes here, this is naturopathic medicine, and this is what you can expect when you come and participate in one of my wellness care plans. All right, so this now brings us up to the point of this whole video. And the question you may be asking, what is an annual wellness care plan? These plans are also referred to as concierge plans or boutique plans, and the name is intended to convey the concept of a much higher level of service than is customary in the conventional medical system. So the standard for seeking health care outside the auspices of an insurance company has been patients have to pay out of pocket for each visit. This makes it seem as if every unexpected trip to the doctor is an additional expense. Many times, people's health might suffer as they attempt to save money, and this can especially be true if you have kids, because you don't know when they're going to get hurt, when they're going to get sick. Annual wellness care plans kind of change that model. Patients or families pay one fee for the year, and they're covered for basically as many office visits as necessary, up to a fairly high limit. Practices using this model typically have far shorter wait times because we do in fact limit the number of participants. A doctor can only see so many patients in a given amount of time. Concierge practices will fill up, and one of the benefits of being in a concierge model practice is that there are many health conditions that simply can't be solved in the average 5 to 10 minute office visit you get in the conventional medical system. Part of this is because we treat the whole person, the physical body, the mind, the emotions, the spirit, and your environment. And that requires the doctor and the patient to spend a little more time talking than the conventional medical system typically allows. Conventional medical system doesn't really limit most of their patients, and that's why you see these long wait times and shorter office visits. We focus in the concierge model and within naturopathic medicine, we focus on proactive prevention and a wellness approach to healthcare. We don't wait for you to get sick and then try to fix a disease. We teach the lifestyle and education about health. And most patients find their health starts to improve, and over time, their families gradually need to see a doctor less and less. That opens the way for more people to join a concierge practice. And eventually, once you're well, I do have a lower cost maintenance plan that you can participate in. So here is a quick summary of some of the benefits of participating in a concierge wellness plan practice. You spend more time with your doctor. There's far less wait time for appointments when you call up and say, hey doc, I need to come in. You get a long-term plan to restore and maintain your health and not just palliate symptoms. You don't have to feel like you're restricting your health care or that of your family due to cost concerns. You don't have to rely on, gee, will my insurance company allow me to receive this therapy or see this doctor? The holistic approach to health for you and your entire family, that includes your home, body care products, environment, etc. We address your lifestyle for factors such as stress, exercise, mind, body, spirit wellness, all of which affect your physical health. If you join my concierge wellness plan model, you get complimentary attendance at all my health and wellness lectures, courses, and programs, both live and access to my past recordings on my website. So in essence, this gives you and your family your own personal health coach. And that are some of the major benefits of this plan that you just won't get in the conventional medical world. Here is a list of exactly what all is included. We have a long initial intake, your health history, appropriate physical exams. I typically spend 2 hours, and I'll go more, up to 3 if I need to. It's rare that I can't find out what I need in that amount of time. You'll get written reports, the findings from the intake, recommendations for dietary changes, lab tests that I suggest, nutritional supplements and other medications. These I give you recommendations in writing, and I make sure you understand why we're doing everything that we're doing. Follow-up visits as needed in person, via video conference if necessary, email, phone calls, 30 in-person visits a year. So that's not quite at the rate of 1 a week, but that's quite a few. I'll be happy to do quick phone calls, video conferences, and so forth. I answer simple questions via email all the time. My office visits include my physical medicine work and energy medicine treatments as needed. Great results for different types of musculoskeletal pain situations, injuries. I'll do a home and lifestyle evaluation. So if you live within a 50-mile radius of Hamilton, Montana, I come out to your home, I walk through, I evaluate the food you eat, the cleaning supplies, ventilation, lighting, many other aspects of your physical environment. And let's face it, we all spend more time in our homes than any other single place, so it needs to be healthy. If you request it, I will offer 1 shopping trip at your local regular grocery store. Again, a 50-mile radius of Hamilton, Montana. You want to call and ask a question, email. You don't need to make an appointment just to do that. Phone calls, I'll be returned as quickly as possible during normal business hours. And as I mentioned on the previous slide, all my classes that have been conducted in the past that I have recordings of, you get access to all of that library on my website. So here are the costs for the wellness plan for 2024. A single adult individual, the base price is $22.50. A second adult, a spouse, significant other, etc., is 1/3 off that price. Children, half the adult price. The second child, 3/4 of that price. And If you have a bigger family and you want to get more children covered, it doesn't need to just add up. I'll do a special deal for larger families to try to keep the cost down as much as possible. The simpler approach that I mentioned earlier can be up to 12 visits a year. The individual plan is $1,050, and the second adult in that, or subsequent adults, I have people where it's a young couple and one set of parents, and they all want to do that plan. So the subsequent adults are all at that 25% off rate. So pause the video here if you like. Take a look at these. These are the prices for 2024. Some of them will probably go up next year just as my costs continue to go up, things like rent and so forth. So that's what we've got right now. As far as your payment options are concerned, the best deal is if you do full payment by January 1st. 25% down payment in January, I add 5% to the balance and divide that into 10 monthly payments. That's billed automatically on a credit card. Monthly payments for 12 months, I have a couple ways of billing that on a credit card or through my Patreon program. It's basically the base price plus 10% billed monthly. For an adult, that equates to $225 a month. It comes out to, I think, $2,700 over the course of the year. When you first start and we have our initial intake, one of the first things we talk about is what are your health goals? What are you looking to achieve, whether it's weight loss or get out of pain or get off prescription medicines or feel more energy to do certain activities again. When I review your history and your intake form, I may have my ideas, but more important are your ideas. What are you hoping to gain from a more natural, optimal health approach? We do a very thorough intake, and my history form is long, and that's how we find things out. We do appropriate physical exams. I may recommend appropriate lab tests. We put together a long-term plan that you can see and you can agree to. And then we, on almost every case, we schedule the next time we need to see you and what we need to cover at that visit. So here's a quick overview page of my wellness clinic. A lot of this, of course, is on my website. The kinds of things I do a lot of, and my office hours, Tuesdays through Fridays. Saturdays, many Saturdays, I'm teaching some of my special courses, so I try not to schedule office hours those days. Sunday and Mondays, I'm closed. So again, if you need to get this contact information down, feel free to pause the video right here and do that. If you have any questions at all about the Concierge Annual Wellness Plans, about different health conditions and whether or not I think I can help you with those, please give me a call. Here's my email address, here's my phone number, and here's my website. I look forward to working with you on you and your family's health goals, and I welcome questions, and I hope to hear from you in the not too distant future.